Hello, Central New York, and hello, hockey fans all across the internet, and welcome to 315 Hockey Live, brought to you by 315hockey.com and powered by My Little Falls. I'm your host, Scott Kinville, and, well, fellas, it's just about coming down to the end here for us for the season.
Christmas is over.
Yeah,
we're taking down the tree.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. There is really no more hockey left in Central New York. The Utica Comets and the Syracuse Crunch were eliminated from the Calder Cup playoffs over the weekend, but that doesn't mean that we still can't talk about hockey. You know,
you can talk about anything, but
yeah, well, especially around you. That's So, as a matter of fact, we're not going to stop talking about hockey because we got 2 shows this week.
Okay,
2 shows. So tonight we are going to do our Utica Comets season end awards. It's our version of the Grammys, the Oscars, the Tonys,
the Woolies,
the Emmys, the ESPYs, whatever the Woolies is, all of that wrapped in one.
Yeah.
So, and of course, if you're new to the show, that guy you hear over there is my sidekick, partner in crime, whatever you want to call him, Dave the Save Warner.
Yeah, if you're new to the show, God help you.
Yeah, true enough.
Jordan's right in on
true
that.
Enough. Yeah. Exactly. And joining us live via satellite, of course, as always, is Jordan Brockway. Jordan, how are you?
Not bad.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's get this Oodles of Fun show underway here. Okay. So this is how it's going to work. Our awards are called the 315s because I quite frankly couldn't come up with anything original or anything like that. I don't even have an actual award. So
I think you need to go to the trophy shop.
No, we'll probably have to just, make out certificates. Probably write them in crayon.
Didn't we say this like last year? You didn't have any awards or something. I mean, you had an excuse for no trophies last time.
And I got an excuse this time too. I didn't look into it.
Yeah.
So there.
Okay. All right.
How do you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make up our own certificates. You're so good with a computer. You can do it.
Yeah, I can do it.
We'll mail them up to the Comets offices, and it'll be. Oh, Barry's already chiming in. Scott.
Yeah. You want to see that?
Yeah, sure. Or let's see. Oh, you disappointed me. Thought Scott, Dave, and Jordan would have worn tuxedos for the award show. I could picture Dave in a tuxedo.
Yeah, look good, dude.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You can be a Wilkes-Barre Scranton tuxedo chicken.
I'm just arm candy, buddy.
Oh, yeah, you're arm candy. Oh boy.
Barry's in on it.
He's arm candy corn is what he is.
Yeah, I hate that stuff.
That's right. Exactly. Boy, oh boy. But I'll tell you, this is how this award show is going to work. All right. So we got 7 categories, I think, to go over. All right. 7. I'm going to come up with my pick. I'm going to announce the nominees. I'll give my pick. Jordan will give his pick. If we both agree, great. No problem. We move on to the next. If we disagree, that's where Mr. Tuxedo comes in.
What if both of you disagree?
What if we agree to disagree?
Okay. Then there's no tiebreaker.
What came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know. Right?
Who's
always something with him, I swear.
Yep.
So anyways, let's kick this off for our Utica Comets Award show. I'll tell you what, first, let's go with the Unsung Hero Award. Now, everybody knows what the Unsung Hero is, right? It's the player that always gives it his all, always there for the team, always doing everything necessary to help the team win, but doesn't quite get the recognition for what he does. Or she. I mean, it depends on, the team or the player and all that. Yeah. So anyways, why don't we go over our nominees? We have 3 of them.
Okay.
First up, Arnie Telvidi. Arnie played in 58 games for the Comets this year. He had 3 goals, 11 assists for 14 points. Not much on the stat sheet, but I'll tell you what, this guy was dynamite in the bottom 6 for the Comets. One heck of a defensive center, always there to take the tough face-offs, putting him on the best, offensive players out there, trying to keep him locked down. Arnie was just, like I said, the classic under-the-radar guy, always there first for the team. And I will tell you, he grew the best mustache for the playoffs I've ever seen. Awesome. Number 2, Isaac Poulter. Now, here's a goaltender. He came up from Adirondack. He only played in 13 games for the Comets, but he had a record of 7-3-3. His GAA was 3.62. He had a 883, save percentage, 346 saves. You know what? I mean, the stats don't really jump out too much, but here's the thing, right? Isaac Poulter stepped in at a time when the Comets desperately needed a goaltender, and he held the fort down for him. I mean, you can't take away the fact that the guy got 7 wins, and he played some really tough opponents too. He was facing Syracuse when they were on a very hot streak at the time. I believe he beat Laval as well. So Isaac really held down the fort, like I said, for the Comets when things were kind of looking a little bit murky in that goaltender situation. And last but not least in this category is Jeremy Grollo. Jeremy played in 43 games. He had 2 goals, 8 assists for 10 points. But here's the thing, guys. He was a plus 14. Very, very steady on that blue line for the Comets. A steady Eddie player, if you will. I'll tell you, and again, you look at the stats, go, well, but you know what? Jeremy Grollo is one of those guys that will never hurt you out there. Always there to make the solid defensive play. And I'll tell you what, this game is not all about stats. It's about your all-around game. Look at the look on Dave's face when I said that. That's just unbelievable.
I thought about mustaches and hair.
Mustaches and steady eddies and
clothes that you're arriving with, at the game.
I
thought it was a look, dude.
We'll get to that.
All right.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But you're wearing a tuxedo next time.
I am.
So, Jordan, of those 3, who is your unsung hero for the Utica Comets?
My pick is Untitled Chapter because he gives you a little bit of everything as a bottom 6 center. And honestly, if this team didn't have some of the guys it did, I'd argue he'd be someone who could be your first or second line center. On other teams, he could be.
I like it. I like it. And you know what? I have to agree with you. You're not going to get the vote this time, Dave, save.
I was already.
Yep. You're right about that, Jordan, because, he's one of those guys that, oh, and you know what? And we even screwed it up. We didn't get the music in.
You didn't say.
I know. Well, next category.
Next one.
But I'll tell you what, though, it's
like after you announce your picks.
Well, you
right?
can, folks, you can tell that this show is not scripted, can you?
Yes. I lost the script somewhere.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, I had a hard time picking between Talvidi and Grollo. The deciding factor for me was actually Arnie played more games.
Yeah.
And again, the games that Jeremy Grollo was in, he was dynamite, but he played in like half the games, a little bit over half the games for the Comets. I understand he was rotated a lot, around a lot in the Comets lineup. So for me, it was Arnie Talvidi, and the rumors going around that he's going back to Finland now to continue his career there. I haven't really heard anything confirmed about that yet, but if it is, hate to see him go, but we wish him the best of luck in Finland. It's good for him. Just a fantastic guy too.
So if you guys had tied and I needed to break it, do you want me to tell you which one I would have picked?
Absolutely, because we don't want you to feel left out.
All right. I would have picked the mustache.
Then we would have all agreed.
We would have all agreed.
See that?
Yeah.
Just unreal. Unbelievable how it all falls together
amazing.
Like that.
Yep.
It's mind melt around here.
Yeah.
And that's kind of terrifying, actually.
Mindless.
Vulcan nerve pinch, whatever.
Yeah.
Because Dave's really into sci-fi.
Oh,
Jordan, I don't know if you knew that or not, but
big time, Jordy.
Yeah. Yeah, you should see. He was all excited about the SpaceX launch from Boca Taco or whatever it's called. Oh yeah.
And even Jordy knows that's wrong.
R2D2 or whatever it was that got shot into space. I don't know. You didn't hear the end of that for 2 days. It was unreal. What happened?
Move this show along. Jesus, we're gonna have to do a space taco show.
Yes, you go right ahead. Yeah. I'll tell you, we'll switch roles. I'll be over in that chair. You can be over on this one, right?
I love that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Moving right along. Let's get to our next category, the Rookie of the Year. So the Rookie of the Year, of course, is the first-year player. There are certain categories that have to be met. So in order to qualify as a rookie, long story short, a player could not have played in more than 25 games at the AHL or NHL level in the previous season. There's a couple other different factors that go along with it, but that's the main one. So the nominees are Shimon Nemec, 65 games played, 12 goals, 22 assists, 34 points from the blue line for the Comets. He was a plus 13 for the year. He took 138 shots, and he had a game-winning goal. Up next is forward Brian Hallinan. He played 57 games for the Comets. He had 17 goals, 13 assists, 30 points. He was a plus 2, had 5 power play goals, and he had 46 penalty minutes. Pretty rugged guy out there. He's always out there throwing hits. It's great. And last but not least, a newcomer, Xavier Perrant. He only played in 14 games in the regular season for the Comets, totaling 3 goals and 3 assists, but he was dynamite for the team in the playoffs. He had 5 games played. He had 3 goals, 1 assist, and he was a plus 3. I would expect to see him full-time in Utica next year. He spent most of his time in Adirondack this season. So, Jordan, of those three, who's your pick?
My pick is Simone Nemec because the overall impact you could see him have this year once he came down was huge. If he wasn't scoring goals, he was getting assists on goals. If he wasn't getting assists on goals, he was making smart plays to set them up, and he was smart all around. When he came in, everybody preached, this is a smart guy coming out of this class, one of the best. And he showed it when he came to Utica.
Yeah, absolutely. 18 years old, too. And I tell you, he was smooth as glass out on that blue line. I'll tell you, Brian Hallinan, though, he had a heck of a year, too. Came to the Comets late last season. I believe he signed out of Michigan Tech. I think that's where he came from. And he provides that grit that you really need in your lineup, right? And he's got that scoring touch, obviously, 17 goals. Nothing to sneeze at whatsoever. And I'll tell you, from what little we saw of Xavier Perrant this year, I really love this kid's game.
I did too.
He's a feisty guy. I like the feisty guys. I really do. And like I said, I think you're going to see him full-time in Utica this season. However, Dave the Save, let's have some winner please music. Yes. And the winner is Simone Nemec, because I absolutely agree with you. You can't deny the impact that this kid had on the Comets this year. And again, like I said, first professional season in North America, playing on the smaller ice surface. You would never guess it, though. He transitioned to the North American game so well. I got a feeling that you're going to see him in New Jersey next year. But it was just a fantastic season he had here in Utica. Dave, who would you have picked?
Hallinan, because the power play was so weak, getting 5 shots during this 5 points during the power play.
That's 5 goals.
It know?
Is. Yeah. I tell you, Dave the Save coming up with a big observation. I like it. See, all I had to do was bring up SpaceX. I got his head back in the game. See, that's what it was.
That took my head out of the game.
Yep, Boca Burrito, or whatever. Yeah.
You're going to get a surprise the next time. Beware Wednesday's show.
I knew it was going to happen at some point before the end of the season. That's for sure.
That's true. This audience has not experienced that.
Pretty much. Okay, so for this next category, we have visuals. So if you're going to be listening on the audio podcast, you're just going to have to imagine what we're talking about. If you're watching on YouTube, this is going to be the best part right here because we got the visuals to go along with it. This category is the best head of lettuce. In other words, who has the best hair on the Comets? It's a pretty common theme, like in hockey. We don't call hair. It's either the flow or the lettuce. So
I like the flow.
And hockey players are so proud of their hair. I wish I had some. I mean, it was,
That's why you wear hats.
I'm so envious of these guys.
Yeah.
First up, let's go with Mason Geertsen right there. Right, you had no, over on the right. Keep going. Keep going. Right there.
Well, that's where I was going.
There he is, right there. That's Mason Geertsen. That's him at the preseason party there at the 72. Look at that head of hair. That is so awesome. I am so jealous of that hair. There's just no. You know what? That because I'm mostly bald. That hair just makes me want to put like chia pet all over my head and try to like replicate that.
He could trim that thing, give you the trimmings, and you'd have enough.
And he would still have awesome hair.
Yeah, he'd still have good hair. I mean, just the flow.
Yeah, the flow, exactly. The flow, the lettuce, you got it all right there, right?
Yeah.
Next up, we've already mentioned this guy once. It's Arnie Telviti.
Back this one.
Left. There you go.
All right.
There he is right there. Look at Arnie. He's got it going on in the back, right? He's got coming out the side. Love it. And there's that mustache that I had mentioned too. That mustache is just awesome. Yeah, it's like an extension of his hair.
Yeah.
It's great. It really is. And last but not least is the rookie, the new signee, Josh Philman. Look at that hair. You know what? I did actually have hair like that once because when I did have hair, it was kind of thick and I had a hard time, so mine kind of came out the side just like that, but I can never get that flow going in the back.
Yeah, I didn't like to curl when I had long hair. It started curling.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah. Hey, look, remember that show My Girl? Marlo Thomas?
Yeah. I remember
Marlo Thomas, way back in the day. Remember how that almost looked like a ski jump in the back? Yeah, that's what I had too. I couldn't stand it. It drove me crazy. Not to mention Gump couldn't stand it. It drove Gump crazy.
Yeah,
it really did. I tell you. All right. So now that we've had all the visuals, Jordan, who has the best head of lettuce on the Utica Comets?
I'm going to have to say Gertzy. I mean, I saw him after the last game, and I just looked at him. I said, not only is he big, he's got flow. And if this were not just hair and it were mustache and everything else, I would have said Vidi. But with it just being hair, Gertzy takes it over anybody, any day.
All right, Dave, some music, please.
No, yeah.
The winner is... The very fact that I said that this man is inspiring me to want to put Chia Pet on my head.
Yeah.
My vote goes with Gertson as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you're right. He's like what, 6'4", 6'5", and with that hair, he looks like he's 6'8". It's awesome.
Yeah.
So absolutely the best head of hair on the Comets.
You think it's maybe the quality of the photo, though? I mean, that's a good shot of him.
Well, thank you, because you know who took that?
You took that one?
I did.
Good job.
I took that
Good
picture.
job. Yeah,
Yes. I just caught him totally off guard.
Ah.
He thought it was like by a pro.
No, I just thought that, something's exiting his head.
Well,
I thought it was,
I like how that exit sign looks like. It almost like a halo.
Yeah.
Kinda,
that's what
it's like it's an aura.
It's like you're drawing one of those cartoons.
Yeah.
You put a little bubble over his head, and he
Yeah.
says, "I need to exit here."
He's got Mason Geertsen aura.
Yeah.
It's great.
I like it.
But I got to tell you something, though. We're agreeing too much here. We really are.
Well, this
I mean,
game
this
is-
is, I tell you, I don't know, Jordan. I mean, mine melts one thing, but this is kind of getting, got to have a little disagreement. Besides,
spooky.
But before we go on, Dave, who would you have said?
I would have gone with that
Would you?
right off the bat.
Oh, yeah, I tell you.
Yeah.
Too much agreement.
Even when you sent them to me, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is hair."
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about it. All right, we might have a little bit of disagreement on this one, though. So the next one is the best alternate uniform. So I just sent Dave all these pictures a while back. So, Dave, I'm going to have you. Yeah.
You sent me one. I got the other one. What do you mean all?
One? No, you didn't get the rest of them then.
No, nothing came through.
Oh, I wish you'd said something.
How would I know that you didn't send me something that never came through?
Really? All right. Well, I'll have to do the. Yeah, there they all are. All right. Well, you know what?
I see what happened. Oh,
yeah. Wait a minute. Did you make a mistake?
I made a mistake.
Oh! Hey.
I did not realize that was all. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you
switch, give me a minute.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll go to another category and then we'll come back to that one. How's that sound?
Yeah, that works.
All right. So this category, we don't need visuals. So while Dave's fixing, I can't believe he made a mistake. Usually it's me that screws this all up.
Do not mention it more than once, so this is going to be a problem.
I'm telling you right now, I screwed him up totally with this SpaceX talk.
Yep.
Quiet.
He's completely off his game now. See, there's SpaceX launching.
Yep.
Be quiet. Or I'm going to make more noise.
Well, we're getting the ultimate alternate uniform fixed here. Why don't we go to game of the year? How's that sound? The game of the year, the nominees are opening night, the lights out game. I mean, you have to consider that a game because they did finish it.
Yeah.
Right. For a while, it wasn't considered a full game. It is a full game. Let's see. Nominee number 2 is game 2 of this year's playoffs against Laval, where Riley Walsh tied the game with 2 seconds left and Sammy LeBerge won it in overtime. And then game 3 is January 11th versus Cleveland, another dramatic comeback where Graham Clark tied the game with a minute left, and the no longer with us Andreas Johnson scored in overtime to win the game. So, of those 3 choices, Jordy, which game is your choice?
I'd take the game 2 versus Laval. I mean, I was really thinking about this one for a long time. I decided right before the show. I would have gone with the blackout if more people had shown up to the after of the blackout and it felt bigger, but it didn't. So I'm gonna have to go with game 2 against Laval because there's no atmosphere like that game.
That game was incredible. It really was. And especially just like the whole dramatics of it with the 2 seconds left. And then the Comets having all the momentum going into that overtime and ultimately winning it. And I'll tell you, just like you, I really wrestled with this one. The third game there, the January 11th against Cleveland, I needed a third nominee. So, just to make everything even. But I got to tell you something. As awesome as that game 2 was, I got to go with the opening night lights out. And I'll tell you why. Because who's ever going to forget about that game?
That's true, yeah.
How could you possibly ever, what an opening night to have the lights go out, right? And it
Yeah.
wasn't like it was just some middle of the season game. It was everybody's all excited.
Yeah, it was your
Woohoo!
opening night.
Season starting, and then the next thing you know, poof. And I'll tell you, the Undertaker. I'm a big wrestling fan, right?
Yeah.
And the Undertaker's been retired for a few years and all that. I really thought when the lights go out, the Undertaker was making a comeback.
Oh, when those lights went off, I heard his music. 100%.
Yeah, exactly. I heard the gong.
Yeah.
Bong.
I immediately heard that.
Where is he? I'm listening for the organ. My wife and kids are freaking out, but I'm like, hey, no, this is cool. I go, the Undertaker's coming back.
I almost texted Jeremy and says, "The Undertaker here?"
Yeah. Yeah, because all of a sudden the arena got colder.
Yeah.
All they needed was a little like fog machine.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, though, now all of a sudden we've got a disagreement here. Uh-oh. Guess what? Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
That's
So
'cause I'm
now,
gonna call it.
now this goes to Dave the Save.
Yep.
So you, as the judge, we have a split decision.
Yep.
Dave the Save, what is the Utica Comets game of the year?
Well, prior to that, just in line with that, Barry says you stole his beer when
I
the
did
lights
what?
went out.
I stole his beer. No, Barry, mine was on the other side.
But I'm going to go with the lights out game. Listening to everybody talk about that afterwards and being in the moment and what they felt, because it ranged everywhere from fear to what you were thinking wrestling
Yeah.
going on, just all the different range of emotions and people not knowing what's going on opening night. I mean, I have to go with that.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, it was hard to choose, though, between that and the game 2 against Laval. It was so tough. It really was. But, like I said, just for and I think, honestly, if that game had happened in the middle of the season, I would have gone with the game 2 against Laval.
Clearly.
But again, just
Opening
because
night,
of opening night,
yeah,
you can't script that.
No,
There's just no way.
Who would have made that up, right?
No, exactly.
No, exactly.
Certainly not anybody in the organization, that's for sure.
well,
But
Especially everybody's lights just come on right after too. Like I turned my camera on as soon as I could because everybody's lights just started popping on.
yeah, that was so cool. I should have sent you one of those pictures too.
That was the cool thing. Everybody using their phones, which a few years ago wouldn't have happened.
Well, Jordan, you're a little too young for this, but Dave, we would back when we used to go to concerts with the cigarette lighters.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it was like. Like during like a Journey concert or something.
Except all the sprinkler system would have come on and
probably that would have made it really unforgettable.
A really cool thing.
Well, I was talking to Jeremy after that game, and he said like 20 years ago you wouldn't have had the phone cameras for that.
No,
you're
he's right. No,
yeah, absolutely. But you know what, Jordan? It's the little things.
Yeah, it is the little things.
Gotta get it in.
That's my line.
I beat you to the punch.
I know
you were too busy having coffee or whatever it was.
I was drinking something.
Well, yeah, you're all rattled now.
Yeah, I'm all rattled. I've already recovered for you, so don't worry about
it. All right, so we've gone through 4. We've awarded 4 315s. Awesome awards. Now we're on to our 5th, and we're going to go back to this, the best alternate uniform for the Utica Comets, because I'll tell you what, the Comets throughout the year do a great job of putting out several different alternate uniforms, giving everybody a different look. And, this one, I've been going with 3 nominees. I got, 5 there because I think that's what they had. So, how do you pick 3? I'm like, nah, you know what? I'm going to throw all 5 out there, and we're going to decide from there. So
I'm going to just
go
put
ahead
them
and start putting them random out. There we go. So that's the best picture I could find. That's the military appreciation day uniforms. They always do a fantastic job with those.
That looks good.
And I like if you can't quite tell on that, but you got the camo pattern. It's like the Arctic camo, and it looks so cool. And I tell you, every year they just seem to hit a home run with those, and it's super, super cool. What do we got next there, Dave?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the save of the day. I like this one too. It's almost like a neon. You know what this one reminds me of? It's like the red version of that Dallas Stars neon jersey.
Yes.
Mm.
It really does. Could you imagine if the lights had gone out in that game and those started glowing?
Oh, geez. Then everybody would have thought it was planned, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. It'd have been working so well.
They planned this.
Yeah, it's all part of the show, folks. Don't worry about it. You're going to finish the game? Nope, the puck does not glow. Sorry.
That would have been cool.
It would have.
Like the night golf?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll tell you, that's cool too, though.
Maybe we ought to start.
Yeah, night golf's fun.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. What do we got next? Who's the next nominee? There's the Utica Club inspired Comets jersey for this season. So last year they went with like a gold. jersey. This year they came back with a black, and I'll tell you, those are pretty sharp too. I like those. It's just it's a really fresh, clean looking jersey. And I kind of like those little red stripes underneath the shoulder with the white. And you got Schultz and Dooley on the shoulders. Can't beat that. So, all right, what's next? Yes. Going back to the days of my youth, the Utica Devils throwback jersey. Now, we only included the white uniform kit. They also had a red uniform kit for that, of course. I'll tell you, the Devils came on the scene in 87 here in Utica. They didn't wear those uniforms all the way through because the Devils were here from 87 to 93, as everybody knows. I think it was, 91 or 92 when they switched over to the current look that they have right now. But I tell you, I always loved those green pants.
Yeah.
I always thought the Devils should have never went away from that. To me, it's unique.
It just looks like candy you'd pull out of a jar at Christmas. I mean, come on.
And who doesn't like that?
I like it, but I don't want to wear it.
Who doesn't like that?
I love to wear that.
You know what? You ought to just dress up as the Grinch.
You
then.
just want to be licked. You just want to be licked like you're a piece of candy.
Dave the Grinch. I tell you. Yeah. Well, no, boy. Don't even go there.
I know.
Jeez. And last but not, Dave, I think you took this picture.
I did.
Tell us about that day.
That was great. I can't even think of her. Maya there came up with this idea for the uniforms. They had a contest with students in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And she's from Little Falls High School, and she came up with this design thinking space and get it, Scott, space, comets, they're in space.
Oh, no. Launching with SpaceX. Here we go. Now the problem is he's going to be all frazzled for the rest of the show now. Just so we got him back.
Just so they were in Boca Taco. And
there you go.
And then say, Barry's with me on this.
See? Yeah.
So they were very cool. But great day there for her.
It's awesome. I like how she got the whole planet Earth there. Yep. It's a super cool jersey. It really is. So those are our 5 choices. Jordan, what is the best alternate uniform for the Utica Comets this season?
So this one was really tough because I would have picked the Utica club jersey like I have back here. Ignore the UC jersey, the UC towel on the Eagles jersey. I would have picked that. But I honestly like the lighter ones better than the darker ones.
Okay.
So that knocked that out. I usually love salute to service jerseys, and this one that the Comets did this year is good. I honestly think last year's were better.
Okay.
And the Utica Devils were my winner because as much as I like Save the Day, the Utica Devils ones, you can't match that.
Yeah, that's I'll tell you, that's hard because. But you know what? That was so polarizing. Did you notice that in the fan base? That was so polarizing. Some people loved it, and there's other people that have a lot of bitter memories from the old Utica Devils because of the way they left town. But this was back in 1993. Like Gump, for instance, is one of those.
Yeah,
still just
he wouldn't like this at all, right?
No, I mean when they announced that they were going to do the Devils, he lost it. They're not the Devils. They're the Comets. He's going. I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. Stop coming to the games all upset. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, relax. Well, they left that. I'm like, Dad, that was a whole entirely different ownership group, entirely different management group. Bill Clinton was president, Dad, back when that happened. Okay, come on. Let's move on from this a little bit. But and all of them are fantastic. But because well, first of all, give me some music, Dave. Because we're hearkening back to the days of my youth, and because I just love the 80s so much, I got to go with those Utica Devils throwbacks too. I do. I just love, and I love both the red and the white. It's so awesome. And I tell you, the current New Jersey uniform is all right. I mean, that's fine. But to me, it could use a little spicing up because they've had that since like 95.
Yeah.
Or 90. I don't know, 93, right? When they switched
like
over to that. Yeah. So, I mean, personally, I think it could use a little spicing up, even if they went back to a little bit of the red and green, even though Dave doesn't like it because he apparently doesn't like Christmas candy or anything like that.
I like Christmas candy. I just don't want to see it on men.
You're a mean one, Dave the Save. You really are a Grinch.
Oh, God.
I liked those Save the Day uniforms as well. Those were sharp. I'll tell you what, though, from a fan perspective, those were awful hard to tell what the numbers and the names were on the back. Those were kind of tough. And I'll tell you that space theme jersey was really, really cool too. That one really, you know what? It kind of catches you off guard, right? Because you're not expecting to see that color scheme.
That was very
with the
different.
Comets.
Very
It
different.
was awesome. It really was. And I'll tell you what, I wish they kind of gave that a little bit more of a chance. Maybe wear it a couple games.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been nice. But I think after that game, they donated them to students.
I think so. Yeah, something like that. But no, but that's like I said. And if I'll tell you, if they didn't have the Utica Devils throwback this season, I would have probably gone with that one. But like I said, I can't help it. I'm just stuck in the 80s. Child of the 80s. I love it. And that's all there is to it.
Just a child.
That too. Okay, so we've got 2 more left. This one we don't decide. This one is the fan favorite award. And we went out, we reached out to all those Comets
people
all those Comets fans out on social media. And boy, we got a heck of a reaction from it. I tell you, there's a lot of people feel strongly about their players here in Utica. And looking at the totals, guys, 16 players received votes on this one.
Nice.
Yeah, 16 players. So that tells you just how
Good
much
spread.
it is. Just about everybody on the team was represented. It was nice. But ultimately, we got our top 3. So, Dave, go ahead and go with the music now because I knew you were dying to do that. So. Coming in at number 3 on the fan favorite list, Sam LeBerge. And I'll tell you, all these votes were really close too, by the way. But Samuel LeBerge, and it was the same comments over and over for him. Hard-nosed, gritty guy, gives it his all. Everybody, I mean, you can't, there's absolutely with Sam LeBerge. Very, very good choice by the Utica Comets fan base for number 3. For a while there, I was watching those votes, and I thought he was going to sneak ahead, but then it kind of leveled out a little bit. And so, but like I said, 3rd place for Sammy, not bad. Number 2. The man, he's already got a 315, so he can't feel too bad about not getting this one, but it was close. Mason Geertsen. Everybody loves Mason Geertsen. It's awesome. I mean, and how could you not? The guy hits everything on the ice that he sees. He's got the best hair on the team. I hope he's back in Utica next season because we want to see some more of that. But
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that's for sure. Mason Geertsen, number 2. And number 1, the most popular on the fan favorite vote list, Joe Gambardella. Well deserving too. Joe is just a fantastic guy. He really is. And what I like the best about Joe Gambardella, you can just tell that he is one of those guys. He just loves being there.
Yeah, he does.
That post-game skate, what was it? March 5th, they had the post-game skate there. And I'll tell you, the kids just flocked to him. And every single one of those kids he spent time with and, talked and laughed and did autographs and all that. Just a fantastic guy all around. And you could, like I said, you could just tell that he absolutely loves being there for the fans. And his family owns a pizzeria down in Staten Island, which I gotta check that out sometime.
So do I.
Maybe we'll take a road trip, Dave.
Yeah. Hear the stories if he's there.
Yeah.
Some stories that have.
You can tell him all about SpaceX.
At least you got it right this time.
It's the little things, Dave.
Yeah.
It is little things.
So congratulations to Joe Gambardella on winning the 315 for the fan favorite poll. All right, guys. We got 1 category left here. One more 315 to hand out, and it is the Utica Comets MVP. Now, this was not easy to come up with a nominee list on this one. Several guys put in very worthy efforts, but the top 3 that I've got are number 1, Graham Clark. Graham played 68 games. He had 25 goals, 33 assists for 58 points, led the Comets in all categories. He had 211 shots. He was a +5 on the season, had 5 game-winning goals and 13 power play points for the regular season. In the playoffs, he played 6 games. He had 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 points. He had 19 shots, and he also had 2 power play points. Nominee number 2 is defenseman Riley Walsh. Riley played in 71 games. He only missed 1 game this season. He had 9 goals, 32 assists for 41 points. He had 137 shots in the regular season. He was a -6, but he did lead the team in power play points with 16. And boy, I tell you, he really came on in that last quarter of the season. He was unstoppable. And it rolled right into the playoffs for him, too, because in 6 games, he had 4 goals. He had 1 assist for 5 points, 13 shots. He was a +1, 2 power play points, and he had that about the game-winning goal that we all know about, too. And last but not least, number 3, Nico Dawes. Goaltender Nico Dawes played in 33 games for the Comets. He had a record of 16, 14, and 3. He had a GAA of 2.70. He had a 904 save percentage, and he also had 2 shutouts. But in the playoffs, he was a star. He was 3-3. He had a 257 GAA, 920 save percentage, which was absolutely outstanding. 185 saves and a shutout. I'll tell you, Nico put this team on his back to close the season out. He was just unbelievable. There was a stretch, and what was it, out of 9 games, in 7 of those games, he gave up 1 goal or less to end the season. That's astounding. That really is. I mean, the poor guy, he gave up 1 goal, and it was a shootout goal, and he lost in one of those games too. So what's that telling you, right? I mean, just unbelievable. And it was just nice to see him come on because he was injured for a little while. You know,
yeah.
he was battling injuries, and he came back strong. And like I said, you know, between Nico and Riley Walsh, they put their teams on the back in the last half of the last part of the season and let them into the playoffs. But we're talking about the whole season here. So, Jordy, who, in your opinion, is the most valuable player for the Utica Comets this season?
Honestly, and this might be an out of left field pick, I'm picking Dawes because the wins or the goals may not show it, but he's more of a rock when he's in than it looks because his team was so low scoring this year. There was some games that I was like, Dawes played great, and the loss would not be on him because it was either problems with the defense or problems with scoring because they couldn't get scoring in the first half of the season. And there was constant up and down between Schmidt coming back and forth.
Right.
And between guys like Foote back and forth. Holtz came down midseason. You had some injuries. And the only constant was Dawes, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a good choice. It is. I mean, you know, like I said, I look at his performance in the last end of the season. And it was just astounding. I tell you what, though, I'm looking at the entire season, and it's got to be Graham Clark for me. He was just solid from game 1 all the way. Dave wanted to press that button in the worst way. He did too. I was watching. It was like a mouse trap. He was just waiting for that mouse to go in and get that cheese. You know, it's whack. But I mean, Graham Clark he just like I said in the intro there. I mean, he led the team in goals, he led the team in assists, he led the team in points, he led the team in shots. He was outstanding all the way through, and what a heck of a breakout season he had. Because I mean, this is his 3rd season in the AHL, and I'll tell you, even when the team was struggling to score goals, Graham Clark was just firing the puck away, and he was still producing. So for me, based on the entire body of work, I got to go with Graham Clark. But we have a disagreement now. So Dave will get his wish. The Dave is the judge, jury, and the executioner over here. He's all excited. Look at him. Yeah. All right, there, Judge Dave the same.
I'm going with Dawes.
To go with Dawes.
Yes.
Wow.
Because
I busted his chops about the
as soon as you went down through the list, that was my pick. I mean, before Jordy even said anything, I just it was an inspiration, and they needed that in the final series of games and in the playoffs. The way he played, the way he, like you said, came back after injuries and stuff like that. I thought he was just inspirational. They wouldn't have gotten as far as they did without him.
Okay. Hey,
despite the shots on goal that, Clark gave and everything.
Right. Well, no. Hey, listen, you know what? No, seriously, you got to have solid goaltending.
Yeah.
If you're going to get anywhere in any level of hockey. And like I said, especially, if Dawes didn't, lock it down like he did towards the end of the season, Comets might not have made the playoffs.
No,
so,
they wouldn't have. Yeah.
So there you go. All right. I like it. We've got all the 315s handed out. Imagine that. Like I said, I'll write those out in crayon and we'll
send them in.
Yeah. Before we go to commercial break, though, just some real quick Utica Comets New Jersey Devils news. They announced today that Graham Clark, Nolan Foote, Brian Hallinan, Alexander Holtz, Tice Thompson, Simone Nemec, Tobias Villain, Nico Dawes were all called up to the big club. So they're going to be up there doing the whole backup thing. I don't think they're, unless there's injuries or something like that, they probably won't see any game time, but they're there for the ride.
Still cool to go.
They're still there.
Yep.
Because, I mean, as everybody knows, once you get into playoff times, salary caps go out the window, roster limits go out the window. You can have as many players there as you want, pay as much as you want, do what you want. So, and the Devils are still in it. As a matter of fact, their series is now 2-1 with the Carolina Hurricanes after they put a pretty good good display on yesterday. 8-4 they won. So
what's your prediction?
For that series?
Yeah, for that
I still think
series.
the Devils can win it.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, look at Jordan going, shut up, Scott. Just shut
You're
up.
gonna jinx
Here
it.
we go.
Here
no,
we go.
he's a Rangers fan. So because
Yeah, but he's got
the Devils were down 2-0 to the Rangers.
Phillies jersey in the background. I mean, seriously, how serious can he be here?
Wow. Wow.
Oh, woo.
Okay.
Wow. Oh, here we go. Dave the Save's on a roll now. Just great. Oh, boy.
I couldn't help myself.
But I'll tell you, the Devils finally got smart and put Luke Hughes in. Yes,
Yeah.
Look what happened.
Yeah.
So no, that's still. I'm telling you, they can still win that series, and I'll tell you, these playoffs are wide open in the NHL. But anyways, I'll tell you what, guys. Why don't we go to a commercial break, and we'll wrap everything up when we come back.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city and the area. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes Store, listen to our country music streaming radio station, or sign up for a weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
All right, and we are back with segment 2, and I'm going to miss that song when we go on our summer break.
I actually have an alternative and a little bit different mix of the commercials.
Really?
Yeah, I might just mess with you.
But could you send me an MP3 of that song just in case,
No.
if I go out for a run or something like that, I can put that,
That's true.
Just
It's a Rocky song.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, running up the stairs.
Yeah, I can just pretend I'm SpaceX just taking off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're in Wednesday is not that far away.
I know. It's gonna be, can't wait. I can't wait. It's probably someone could be falling out of the ceiling on top of me or something. Well, you know what, guys? We got some news and notes here to wrap up. First of all, friend of the show, Barry Shelley. A while back, we had the New Jersey Warriors on, and they were awesome. They're the veterans team from New Jersey. And Barry is looking to put together his own veterans ice hockey team. He wants this for players from the Utica Rome area, Little Falls, Cooperstown, that whole general area, basically that we cover.
Central New York.
Central New York.
315 in it, or
basically,
what's he doing?
I think there's a team out in Syracuse. He said, but
really?
I mean, I think so.
A veterans team.
A veterans team,
okay.
Correct. I know there's one in Rochester, Buffalo. Basically, he wants one for our area to be able to compete, which is really cool. And he's putting it together. So, Dave, if you want to put his email address up there, if you're interested, if you know somebody who wants to get involved, there it is right there. Barry101coop at yahoo.com. That's Barry101COOP at yahoo.com. Barry would be more than happy to talk to you about that team and what he wants to do and how he wants to go about it. And it's awesome. And we'll support him any way we can because that's just a great cause. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out. All right. So we got a few local girls that did some really good things this season in college hockey, and they were recognized for that. First of all, Clinton's own Mia Lapata, Quinnipiac University. She was recognized by Quinnipiac Athletics as one of the unsung heroes this season. She was just fantastic. Went out saw the Colgate game there where Quinnipiac was in town. I'll tell you, she is so high energy when she's out there, just amazing. Always out there encouraging her teammates and just one heck of a player, really. And you know what? Speaking of Colgate, New Hartford's own Sydney Bard, Colgate University's women's hockey team, they handed out their annual team awards last week, and she was in on 2 of them. She was named the co-defensive MVP, and she also won the team sportsmanship award.
Nice,
which is really cool. And like I said, both of them were on the show as well. So I mean, that's just really, really cool.
Well, that's really what got them the award. Being on the show.
Yeah, I doubt that. But you know what? You can play the awards music one more time for them.
Oh, geez, you want that? Now you caught me off guard. Good Lord.
Did it again.
I had already queued up for the ending. I mean, come on.
Nope,
Don't
not
do
yet,
it.
pal. Not yet.
You got to think ahead on these shows.
Got to plan for anything.
Yeah, right. Well, hey, listen, I got to keep this guy on his toes. You know?
Yeah.
I got to keep his head in the game because if I don't, he's going to start thinking about SpaceX.
I think,
And then we're off the rails.
I want to say my head was in the game on these.
You were.
awards.
You know, I was impressed.
You were.
I really was impressed.
His head wasn't in the clouds.
Yeah, it wasn't on the launch pad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. If you'd seen the launch pad after that launch, you wouldn't want to be there.
Well, probably not. But
Yeah. Jordy saw. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Did you, Jordy? I didn't see it.
I
You
saw a
watch
little
it?
bit of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
See?
Well, you might have to incorporate a video for next show.
We may.
Speaking of next show, we're going to do a Syracuse Crunch Awards show on Wednesday night. 2 more nights. So
Awesome.
we got Alexandria Ackerman from the Syracuse Speaks podcast going on. She's been on before.
Yes.
The Syracuse Speaks is great if you want to listen to anything to do with the crunch. She's got all the up to the minute info. It's a fantastic podcast. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on Apple. You can find it wherever you want to find your podcast. So, but she'll be here Wednesday night. Probably going to be pretty much the same categories we just went through, except we're going to be doing the Syracuse Crunch style. So,
Okay.
You know, I figured
You have enough knowledge to do that, or are you going to have her carry the water?
Oh, we're going to find out, aren't we?
Yeah.
You know, but listen, I'll make sure you got all the visuals before we go on the air this time,
good.
right?
Well,
Because
you did send them to me. They were just, you know how they get grouped.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
just
got
saw the
'em.
one, and
got him.
yeah, that's all right.
It's kind of like that, you know, for anybody.
Jordy, start the clock. 47 hours and 23 minutes.
The revenge clock. Tick
Yep.
tock, tick tock. But anyways, that's going to do it for our show. Like I said, we will see you in 2 nights for the Syracuse Crunch Awards show. But we do thank you for listening, watching, and we hope you enjoyed yourself. For Dave the Save Warner, for Jordan Brockway, I'm Scott Kinville. Thanks for listening. We will see you in a couple days.